The recession is canceled. Folks, I don't know if you saw the durable goods orders this morning, but they were much better than expected. Again, remember, durable goods are important because these are items that are typically purchased and expected to be around for 3 years or more. This is not your little, clothes or something of that nature that lasts a season. Durable goods are important because it is actual sign of consumer confidence. Now, in fairness, it could also be the fact that consumers are expecting tariffs to increase inflation and that some folks are buying ahead. Knowing the average consumer across America, I suspect there are some sophisticated folks who are looking at potential tariffs as raising the cost of refrigerators and couches and all of those things. So certainly there could be some pull forward of demand, but a number like this is a bigger story. Just so we're clear, last month had durable goods up an impressive 3.3%. That is a revised number. It was reported at 3.2, so that was revised up. It was expected to go negative. It was expected to be negative 1%. Actual, positive 0.9. So again, still a positive number, better than expected. And what really comes to mind is something I've been trying to share with you the last several weeks. Consumers may feel one way, but act a different way. Said differently, watch what they do, not what they say. Watch what they do, not what they say. So again, consumers are still spending, even though they are nervous, they are concerned, all of those things. On top of that, again, watch what they do, not what they say. We got mortgage demand. Mortgage demand is the strongest in the last 2 months for home purchases. Home purchases were up 1% week on week. These are, again, mortgage applications. Purchase applications up 1% week on week. That is 7% year on year. Given that rates have basically been flat, it is probably not a big surprise that refis are down 5% week on week, lowest in the last month. It is interesting to note that purchase applications are up predominantly because of FHA. FHA, first-time home buyers, doesn't have to be first-time home buyers, but is often first-time home buyers. FHA saw an increase of 6% in applications. What does this mean? Well, I think it's pretty clear. We have seen, based on who you see, 30% increase in inventory. We're seeing days on market longer, and you saw investors pull back, which means first-time home buyers are predominantly stepping into the game. Don't know if you saw this, but Dollar Tree is selling Family Dollar for $1 billion. Unfortunately, this is an ouch. Unfortunately, 10 years ago, they paid $9 billion. They paid $9 billion. They are now selling it for $1 billion. That is an $8 billion loss in a decade. That hurts. I do want to give a shout out to our school community and welcome Scott. Scott is our newest member to the school community. Remember, Scott, to introduce yourself, communicate, get to level 2 and level 3, unlock all of that free education from Jason Pritchard, from Ty, from myself. It is all there for you. Just get active and you will see thousands of dollars in free education. Fed President Goolsbee out saying wait and see is the correct approach when facing uncertainty. Makes complete sense to me. I don't know if you saw this, but Fed President Bostic yesterday said, and this is, this is concerning. Bostic said, we won't hit 2% inflation until at least 2027. Higher for longer. If Fed President Bostic is correct, we should expect mortgage rates to be, I don't know, in the sixes, perhaps until 2027. What does this mean? It means right deals, right disrespectful offers that make sense today, that you can hold and wait and wait and wait for an opportunity to perhaps refi later. President Trump is out talking about how to lower home prices. We should all hope that he is able to do this. It would really help with affordability. What I saw him list was apparently, again, this is just from my reading, HUD has mandated energy efficiency. Apparently, in the average new construction, energy efficiency costs an extra $31,000. Okay. 25% of single-family home costs average is regulation. I certainly know this. Having tried to build 2 ADUs, it was ridiculously expensive, and I decided to pass. By the way, multifamily, you thought single family was crazy at 25%. Multifamily is 40.6. Can you imagine 40% of the cost of building an apartment is regulation? Ouch. Ouch. Lastly, talking about building on government land. Apparently, there is enough government land in and around cities that could potentially produce 3 to 4 million new homes. Again, need supply, which would lower prices. Consumer confidence, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, but dug into the numbers more, is at a 12-year low. But again, I go back to the earlier comment. Watch what they do, not what they say. Consumer confidence could come back in a hurry. All President Trump has to do is declare a softer tariff stance, make it a little bit more clear, show us all a plan, and bingo, bango, consumer confidence would return. To that end, it appears in the last 24 hours, I've seen semblance of a plan, and I've talked about this would be my preferred strategy. Basically, declare sectors or items that are national security. Over the last several weeks, you have heard me repeatedly say, for example, pharmaceuticals. I think the fact that we let China be the producer of our pharmaceuticals is a national security risk. It is, said a different way, stupid. So if I had a magic wand, I would raise tariffs on pharmaceuticals, thus incentivizing investment in the U.S. and bingo, bango, in several years, it would not be overnight. I'm not confused. In several years, we would be manufacturing our pharmaceuticals and have control of that should a war or something else break out. President Trump apparently says that we need to own and manufacture steel, aluminum, and pharmaceuticals. These things need to be made in America in case of war. If we do these things, we will have 3 less national security concerns. I am not here to argue whether those 3 things are the things. They certainly make sense to me. You wouldn't want to go into a war where you have to build planes or drones or whatever we build and have to rely on someone else. So if those are the 3 areas where we are going to have tariffs and focused and, all of that to bring industry home, great. Let's leave everything else alone. On top of that, President Trump had said that the coming tariffs on April 2nd will probably be more lenient than reciprocal. Awesome. Wonderful. Can you please start communicating that in a simple way so the average American realizes that it is not going to be Armageddon, that a trade war is not coming, that we are simply picking a few industries that are national security concerns, and let's just move on? I think that would be wonderful. Also want to let you know that the school community has an exciting call here in 21 minutes, 8 a.m. The ladies of ORAT take over and do their accountability mastermind call. I think it is wonderful that we have a group of ladies that are doing an accountability call, 8 a.m. on Wednesdays. If you're out there and you are a lady looking at investing in real estate or getting started or just want to get around others that are doing it, we supply that in the school community, 8 a.m. on Wednesday. That is obviously Pacific time. I think it is very fair to say that Trump is not watching the stock market, at least not watching it as keenly as he's watching the 10-year note. I think in his second term, certainly in his first year of his second term, he is most tuned to the 10-year note. I think that makes sense. I do want to shout out Cody Davis. Cody Davis, one of our newest millionaires that we speak to each and every Monday at 10:30. Cody Davis is someone who started investing, getting on the journey at 18. In our latest discussion, he shared that he became a millionaire at 21 and a multimillionaire at 24. During that discussion, I let him know that I thought he had an amazing risk tolerance. Because again, if you know Cody's story, he built a portfolio to, I don't know, like 70 units in 3 or 4 years. He did it with, in some cases, 100% leverage, some low down stuff, all seller financing. But what Cody shared with me in that latest video really made me respect him even more. I already respected Cody. I already considered him a friend, but he really laid it out for me. Cody Davis is not all risk, all gas, no break. What Cody shared with me in that latest presentation is what he looks at is, how do I take this building from what might be a sub 1 DSCR to 2 in 18 months? I think that is simply genius. If you can take on an apartment building, a project, have a plan over the next 18 months to get it to a 2 DSCR, that's not risky at all. That is, in fact, very conservative. You can typically get a DSCR loan at 1.25, maybe 1.3 if they're being conservative. So I want to give shout out to Cody. Much respect. Love that insight that he shared on Monday. So again, lucky enough to have him on the channel each and every Monday. I think it's interesting to look at home builders. We talked about KB Homes yesterday, just with a disaster quarter, missed top line, missed bottom line, missed units, just missed. But if we go back 2 weeks and we look at Toll Brothers, they're telling an entirely different story. Again, if you don't know Toll Brothers, I think their median home price is like $800,000, maybe even $860,000, something like that. So Toll Brothers serves, I don't know, the top 10%, maybe the top 20%, where KB Homes is much more of a entry-level housing. This is just yet another example of a bifurcated economy, bifurcated housing market. The folks that have do, and the folks that struggle don't. That's what is going on right now. What else do we got? Oh, GameStop. GameStop's in the news, apparently pulling a micro strategy. They're going to take some of their cash and buy Bitcoin. Yep, you're going to see Bitcoin on the balance sheet at GameStop. Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae are in the news today saying they will not cut conforming loan limits. Conforming loan limits today are 806. There was a rumor, or at least several news cycles, saying they were looking at reducing that. They came out this morning and said, no dice, that is not coming. All right, folks, hope you enjoyed that daily financial news. Like, subscribe, comment, and again, time to join school. School is a special place, 67 pennies a day. You have 6 different accountability groups, one for agents, just all different types. You got thousands of dollars in education. You got a place to network, have friends, and just the happiest place on the internet. Hope to see you inside school. Hope to give you a shout out when you join. Take care. Have a wonderful day. Peace.